Good day everyone that is watching this video. So today is Wednesday 19th of July 2023. It's almost 6 p.m. now. A few minutes to 6. Still sunny anyway. Before I get into the topic of this video, I just want to clarify something I said in the last video I did, which was on Sunday. The second video I did last Sunday. It has to do about what I said about the 206cc. So I mentioned that the 206cc, but let me remind you, CC stands for the convertible. So 206cc has more than one engine. You know, I said in that video that I couldn't confirm at that time if or more like I didn't remember if you can get one with a 2.0 liter engine. But I was very sure of 1.6 liter engine. I couldn't confirm at that time or remember whether they actually produce with 2.0 liter engine from new as well. So it was much later, I think it was yesterday. So it now occurred to me that I remember there was a time I was searching for 206cc for a client a few years ago, and I found one of the ones I inspected had the 2.0 liter engine. So I just wanted to point it out. So if you are interested in 206cc, yeah, you can get one with 2.0 liter engine, that is EW10 J4 engine. It's available. They only come in manual, no automatic. Want to see somewhere. To find somewhere to sit down before I get into the topic of this video. Okay, probably there or here. Okay, let me stay there. Okay, so yeah, so that is sorted out now. So you can get 2.01. It doesn't come with EW10A. You can actually get one up to 2008 model, but that's about it. So if you're interested in 2008, you can get it. I think I may have to change the position here. Okay, so let me get into why I'm doing this video today. So it's about CNG. If it's possible to convert CNG to Peugeot petrol engines, because I know this has been a topic of discussion in Nigeria now, considering the current cost of petrol engines. Current cost of petrol PMS in the country as of today, 19th July 2023. Okay, let me stay here. So I want to. So before I continue, I just want to point out that I'm not an expert on CNG. CNG stands for compressed natural gas. I hope I got it right. So I'm not an expert on CNG, so whatever I'm going to say here shouldn't be taken as gospel. So I want you to do your own research as well. So I'm going to more like lay basic knowledge I have on CNG. So today is not the first time I've heard about it, or this incident that's going on now in Nigeria, where everybody suddenly wants to convert, which makes sense from petrol to CNG, like I say, because of the current cost of PMS in the country. So I've known about it for long, so I'm going to just point out what I know, raise some questions so that you can answer those questions yourself, and maybe point out a few concerns. I will still point out a little bit the pros, few things I had not confirmed, that everything has a downside and the upside, positive, negative, pleasant, unpleasant. For anybody telling you that CNG has no downside, you are the fool to believe such a person. So the negative or the unpleasant side of it that I'm going to say does not mean I'm actually correct, but at least it means some people who use them raise some complaints. So it's now up to you to find out if truly that is the case. Some of them actually make sense. Some of those complaints make sense, when you apply not necessarily logic, when you understand science, you know why. Okay, so I kind of noted one or few things down so that I won't forget. Like I said, something I'm not an expert on, so it's not like I will have everything offered. Okay, so now, is it possible to convert a CNG to modern Peugeot car? Yes, it is. Actually, I've seen few. I'm not even talking about now that people are doing it in Nigeria. I've seen quite a number of Peugeot cars imported in the past that had that system on those vehicles. Most of the ones I've seen were not actually factory; they actually aftermarket installed. I think I can't say for sure if Peugeot produce anyone with CNG. CNG is, to me, is more like I won't call it. I don't know about it more, but probably not a cooking gas. But just for the sake of this video, just assume that it's a cooking gas. It's in that form. It's a dry fuel, not liquid fuel. So it can be done, I've seen, there was a time I saw one for V6 manual, directly imported. In fact, at that time, the owner has not even registered the vehicle. So I saw the car, was a V6, and I was impressed. But not like I find it attractive, So I think this should be maybe like around 2016 or thereabout that I saw it. I wasn't really I just was impressed that somebody could, because I could see how they mounted I don't know their names, the component, but I know how they mounted it and laid it on the intake manifold. You know how ES9 J4S intake manifold could be on top of the engine for 4CVC. So anyway, okay, so that's about it for whether it can be done. Yeah, it can be done. Some people have started doing it. I have zero experience in terms of how it behaves, how it functions on Peugeot engines, or how it works with Peugeot electrical system, modern ones, that works well. Maybe some might not be that good depending on how the installation was done during the conversion. So I can't really say much on that. Now for the pros, one thing I know, or I had, not that I know for a sure, is that it's cheaper to buy CNG to refuel your CNG tank. in your Peugeot vehicle or in your vehicle, whether aftermarket or stock. So it's cheaper compared to petrol. Yeah, it's cheaper. Even before this price went up, I don't know. Some people are saying about 100 naira a liter of CNG. I don't know. It's like I said, I've never purchased it, so I can't say for sure. So, but let's just assume, yeah, if truly it's like one something, of course, it's still much cheaper than the current price of PMS or petrol in Nigeria now. Where as of yesterday, what I saw on a meter at Total station, was it Total or no? It wasn't Total. It was about 620 here in Abuja a liter. So I don't know about other parts of the country. Now another thing is there's also a claim that CNG consume much less compared to petrol. So what I mean by that is it consumes less quantity of fuel than petrol to cover the same distance. So if let's assume, but the difference is not like they are that much, but I could say for what I could see from some of the claims people made, let's assume you can cover maybe one particular Peugeot car with inside the city 20 kilometers. Let's assume the 20 kilometers will consume 2 liters. Of course, it should be much less. Okay, let's be realistic. Let's assume 50 kilometers. You spend 3 liters inside the city to cover 50 kilometers in your Peugeot vehicle. Now the CNG probably might consume like 1.5 liters or maybe 1 liters. Why Peugeot one will consume 3? No, why petrol will consume 3? But if I were to work with what I saw, people were claiming we are probably looking at like 1.5 liters against 3 liters that petrol consume. So yes, it consumes less, but it's not saying the gap is that much, that high. The difference between PMS and CNG. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I have no personal experience with CNG. It's just about what people are saying, what I've seen. Even though I've never started any of those cars, but I've seen them open the door. But never started driven any of these Peugeot cars or even any vehicle that has CNG on it. Okay. Then one other positive you could say some people claim is that it's good for environment compared to petrol, PMS, or even diesel. Okay, fine. I'm not really a fan. I'm not, how do you call it? All these environmentalists. What else? I don't even know. The so-called climate. I don't know what they call them. Those gang people that taking it upon themselves to fight for so-called climate control, blah, blah, blah. So, well, the claim is good for environment, it pollutes less, or probably doesn't pollute at all. I don't know. Yeah, well, so if that's, you could give it a plus. Okay, so I won't take it, if it deserves that praise, yeah, it deserves it. So that's about the pros I know about CNG. That's about it. There could be any other one that I do not know, but these are like the 3 general pros I can tell you about this thing that I've gathered from people. I also apply my technical knowledge to be able to interpret or analyze what I saw and now picked out of whatever the statistics or whatever data that is there, online, out there, to now say, okay, these are the 3 major pros I could get out of it. Every other thing, you can actually find them inside this 3, or maybe I do not know yet. Okay, now let's talk about the cons. Like I said, everything has a positive and negative. Okay. CNG means it doesn't mean you get rid of everything that is on the vehicle, that is petrol. No, your petrol tank will still be there, which is under the vehicle mostly. There are some petrol tanks that you find inside the car, like 505 V6. Okay, it's not even 505 V6. I think 505 American spec, the ones that were produced for America. I can't remember about the 504, but for America, at least I know for a fact the 505 V6 that has been with me for a very long time, American spec, their fuel tank is inside the boot. Inside the boot, not under the car or on top of the car. It's inside the boot. But because it's factory made, design, it didn't occupy that much space. They built the tank to actually take just a little bit space, even though it's 70 liters. Funny enough, it's 70 liters, but they did it in such a way that you will still have enough space. It won't really mess up the remaining space. I mean, it was a well designed. However, for those, because most of this, I don't, like I said, I've never seen a Peugeot car that was factory made with CNG. I mean CNG, I mean petrol and CNG working together. So it's as if most of the ones I've seen. There are one I know that are not petrol, but I don't think they are CNG. I think petrol and is it LPG, or there are some you see it say biofuel. So I don't know what that biofuel actually means. Is it ethanol or whatever? So okay, it could actually be the CNG. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this. So it's possible Peugeot did some products, produce some models with CNG and petrol. Okay. So maybe in that case, their fuel tank, they might be better positioned than this aftermarket I want to talk about, because all the ones I've seen, once they do that conversion, their boot becomes useless, the car boot, because the tank, because the universal, so they are not looking at car, they didn't factor the design of the car when they are doing the tank, because the CNG is a fuel, so you have to store it in a tank, not in petrol tank. The petrol tank will be on its own, so the CNG you have to mount its own tank. So the shape, usually the universal shape usually take the entire, or occupy almost the entire space in the boot. Whatever that is remaining will be, maybe very difficult to even make use of, unless maybe something very small or something like that of 505 VC. They did it in such a way that you could say, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's better seen than described. So these ones are the only vehicle, the only Peugeot car we say that will still make use of the boot when you do that conversion. Is maybe like a station wagon. That's a station wagon. SUV, do they really have that much space? All this like 3008. Okay, maybe 3008, but it still affect it, because it means you can only use the upper shelf of this thing. The lower shelf of the boot is most like going to be consumed by that tank. So you won't really be able to use the boot. Just minor thing that I'll be using. So that's one of the downside of it. Some might be saying it's irrelevant. Well, I mean, it is for me. I know almost my boots are almost filled up almost every time I'm driving. It's only on few occasions I almost filled up. Every time I'm driving, they're always filled up. So what do you want me to do in that case? So I'm not saying if it has to be done, because of space of boot, I would say. But what I'm saying is, it's going to be an annoyance to me, because it's not depriving me of something that I have to use. So I have to now let go of it. Probably I will not be, those stuff that I usually leave in the boot will not be kept inside the vehicle. Which, so I hope you understand. So, or force me not to carry those things, which I carry them because I need them. Not necessarily on daily basis, but I have to. I'm a mechanic, technician, electrician. So if I'm driving my vehicle, so I need to have what I need. If anything happens, to need to sort myself out and continue. Or sometimes some other work-related things I carry that have nothing to do with my automobile part of side of life. So that's the thing. Anyway, so that is one. Now the second point is, yes, the CNG is good for fuel economy, consume less than petrol as they claimed, which from the look until yes, almost everyone agrees that have used it agree that it's cheaper, it consumes less. However, it's not ideal for long distance use or journeys. That's what everybody is saying. The tank are not that big. So remember, it's dry fuel, while the petrol or PMS is liquid fuel. So this other one, because if you really want to get the same quantity or to get enough CNG that will last the same distance with the petrols of 70 liters in your vehicle or thereabouts, then you may probably be able get the tank may probably occupy the entire space in the boot. So probably it's possible they will have different sizes of tank depending on the one you can afford. So in that case, it might make the car heavier or unsafe or whatever. So, but the normal tank people use, that tank, whatever you have there will not be enough to cover the same distance. Most people say, for what I've said, they say, oh, CNG, the average tank distance usually maybe 100 and something kilometers. Well, I mean for cars, I'm not talking about big vehicles like truck or buses. No, I'm talking about cars that use normal tank. Because of the good space, you have to factor in where you keep the tank. So you cannot keep one that is supposed to be in a rolling. The CNG tank for a rolling, you put it in your car. Where will you keep it? Unless you want to use the entire space, both the rear seat and the boot for CNG tank. It's possible, it's in your car, I can do anything. So but the normal this thing, they say is the mileage distance it will cover is not that much. So in other words, CNG is basically good for city use, not for long distance. So what will now happen is, if you are going for a long distance drive and that's the only car, I don't think you enjoy the drive. And then some will say, but you can always refuel. I don't know. Well, I've never done see where they refuel CNG vehicle. That's CNG, they refuel the tank. How technical it is to do the refuel. How long does it take to refill? The availability, how many fuel stations. When you want to stay when you're in a journey, you drive off in the city. So most times you will be driving, even when you are in a town, it won't be cities, it will be just rural areas. You'll be passing through forests, deserted places. So you get to a point, you might not be able to find where to get that CNG to refill. So that's one of the drawback or the downside of CNG. So meaning that if you are going to use it, factor it that it's likely going to be only for city use, not for the long distance, unless you are sure that maybe your own tank may be able to cover about 200 kilometers, and you are sure that if you are going to a particular city or town, that before that 200 elapses, that there's another place you get, there's a station that has that CNG, that sells CNG before you finish up the 200 kilometers. So it will refill, otherwise you'll be stranded. Or of course, another thing that you can switch to petrol. I don't know how that conversion works. It's as if they do it in such a way that you can always switch to petrol when you want, or switch back to CNG. I don't know, one of these two. So like I said, I'm not an expert, so I'm not claiming anything here. I'm just putting it to you so you do more research. I want people not to jump, because one thing I notice is people always look at one side, or basically what everyone is saying, without asking questions, expecting, okay, what are the pros, what are the cons? Because that should be, you should be able to look at everything before you now decide. Okay. So you now know that these two now. One factor I've come to realize from almost everybody, or from every okay, in my research, let me just say what I found out in my research concerning CNG is it reduces engine power. So if your engine power is 200 HP, 100 HP, it drops much lower once you switch to that CNG, you know. So I can't say percentage the reduction, but I know for almost every user say yes, it drops. Now the only person that will not say that is the person that bought a vehicle that has CNG from new, that's factory made, they factored it in. So the manufacturer knows that okay, it's producing a 150 HP car with CNG, so you shouldn't be expecting anything more. But if you produce 150 horsepower petrol engine, and you now do the conversion with aftermarket CNG, for what the users, people that did that conversion claim is, you are not going to, once you switch to CNG, the 150 horsepower will drop. I know some of us saying, but even with petrol, if manufacturers say 150, you can't get that 150 onto the wheel. Yeah, I get that, but I see whatever the power that gets to the wheel on the petrol engine or diesel engine with CNG, once you convert it to CNG, it will still drop lower. That's my point. So I know not everybody will be concerned about this power thing. You know, you always feel like, what's the point? I mean, what you care about is cheaper mode of transportation. You know, so it makes sense. People like me, not really. I mean, there are things I can't explain to anybody. I just who I am. I mean, it's not about, you know, some people say, where are you running to? And when I look at that, I say, it shows how on car person you are. You know, it's not an insult. It's just that if you're not a car person, you're not a car person. So don't need to put yourself in what you are not, claiming what you are not. You know, there are some things you are not. Maybe you are a gay. For example, I don't watch football. It doesn't matter even if Nigeria is playing with another country, and I don't watch football. I don't play nothing, nada. I don't even know all these international sports club, anything. I don't know jazz, nothing. I don't follow anything. I don't watch because I have zero interest. It doesn't interest me. Even when I'm looking at it, I'll be lost. Even when we hang out, people will be thinking, talking about it. Sometimes I feel like maybe it's time for me to go, because I'll be there for long. I won't, not that I won't have anything to contribute. I just find it boring when my fellow guys are discussing football. So that's who I am. Now you might say, oh, that's very strange. But, well, it didn't make me. I'm who I am, as in this is who I've become. And so that's the same way you now understand why I'm a car person. So when it comes to power, no, that's who I am. Right now, or maybe tomorrow, I might find something very, very interesting in life that my powerful cars might not be my interest anymore. I mean, everyone has something that ticks in him. It's up to you to own yours. But some people they will hide theirs because they don't want people to laugh at them, because everybody is doing this. So why do the other one? You know. So I'm telling you who I am. So it is a big deal for me to suddenly lose power. on a vehicle, I know there's nothing wrong with my engine, but then I can't make it because CNG is a big deal. Of course, when you are driving in the city, which now makes sense, it's actually, from the look of it, it's actually, it means, looks as CNG is actually meant to be used for the city. So in that case, it basically don't need that power at that time, you know. Yeah, so that's how I put it. So it's a drawback for those who like power. Like I said, it doesn't mean that I can't. After all, my SL1 engine, SL1A engine, the one I originally put in my 505, was it not? Is it not, I think maximum 105 horsepower or so. I don't. I know. Just let's say average of 100, horsepower. It's not compared to my V6 engines. It's a very low power, but yes, I do. I drive and enjoy it for what it is. I didn't get it for power. I know the engine doesn't have much power, so but I chose for. So my point is, if I'm getting a vehicle, if for me to now go and downgrade one of my vehicles, I know that has this so much power, and downgrade the power, reduce the power because of CNG. I think I most likely feel depressed. I don't know how to say it. Not even frustration. I likely might be depressed for a long time. Okay, so that is it. So yeah, it reduces the engine power. That's how I would say. Now the most important drawback or annoyance or unpleasant or negative side of this CNG is, how do I put this? I don't want to make it sound too bad negative, but it's still a negative, but how do I say it so I won't be like bad. Okay, let me put it this way.
Maybe around 5, 6.
If the engine lifespan is questioned, I think that's a better one. Your engine lifespan will be questioned when you convert it to CNG. Is that okay? No, I don't think he expressed what I actually want to say. Okay. Come on, let me say it. If you don't like it, it reduces engine lifespan. Yeah. That's what I've gathered from almost everybody. For petrol engine, it reduces their lifespan as long as it's not factored. And reason given makes sense. Being a technical person, yeah, makes sense. How? Remember I said it's a dry fuel, not a liquid fuel. Now when you look at petrol engines, be it naturally aspirated or forced induction, forced, I'm talking about turbochargers, supercharger. Okay, for Peugeot engines, let's focus on turbochargers since I don't think I've come across factory supercharged Peugeot engines. The fuel acts as lubricant on some moving parts of engine, that's parts inside the engine. Yeah, they actually do act as lubricant a little, in as much as they are dry, but it's fluid, so it's kind of, see the word simulator, it acts as lubricant and also kind of helps to cool. It's just like, one thing people don't know, fuel pump, electric fuel pump, is immersed inside the fuel tank, directly inside fuel, petrol, inside the tank. But the fuel actually helps to cool the fuel pump as it's working. If you want to know how hot fuel pump can get, get a new fuel pump, electric one, plug it, connect it, don't put inside any liquid. Connect positive to negative to the terminal. Hold it on your hand, just for a few seconds, not minutes. Because after some minutes, seconds, it might blow if you keep running the pump like that on dry. So put it, you see what's going to happen. Few seconds, you become very, very hot. So there's no way you leave it that hot. That's why when people that drive their cars almost empty all the time, to the point that their cars, the engine will stall because the fuel has finished. If you keep doing that, your fuel pump will not last. That one, I've said that many times. If you're always driving and form the habit of only filling up, by topping up your fuel tank only when your fuel finishes, because your fuel pump not, because at that time it's getting very hot. There's no liquid there to keep it cool, so it burns off. So that's what this one happens. Remember, as fuel is going in, yeah, eventually it will burn inside your combustion chamber, but it also helps to lubricate your valve, keep it a little bit wet over and over, prevent it from drying up, rusting, you know. So because when you now use CNG, because it's dry, it doesn't lubricate anything anymore. It doesn't cool anything anymore. What most users experience now, their engine gets hotter than it should. It gets hotter. Not saying your engine will be overheating all the time, but it heats up engine hotter than it should. What I mean even those components inside that probably the coolant temperature may not sense, it heats them up. So almost every now and then they claim their valves, their intake valves are burning up. They are damaging their, really, burning off. The period, let me use that word. So they keep changing. Sometimes even affect the cylinder head, the one Nigeria calls top cylinder, because it heats up more than it should. It's very dry. So it has that. So that's what I'm saying. At the end of, some even says your engine oil wears out much faster with the CNG. So they say, in fact, you're supposed to reduce your oil change interval. If Peugeot recommends 6 months, 12 months, 10,000 kilometers, you're supposed to reduce it. Maybe if you are doing 6 months, reduce it to 3 months. If you are doing 12 months, reduce it to 6 months. Or if you are doing 10,000, maybe reduce it to 5,000. If you attempt to use it like a petrol one recommendation, your engine will not last. It will probably back up before you even say jack. So that's a big downside to it. Now, I'm not saying most people that complain about this are those that did this conversion thing. They use aftermarket. It's possible that those that use the factory one, maybe because they factored in that these are not cooling, not lubricating, so maybe the design of the valve might be different from that of the petrol engine. I don't know for sure. Like I said, I'm not an expert. All this I'm saying is research that I did and gathered all from what I saw, and I gathered and summarized. So I'm summarizing. So do your more and get more information. Maybe you could see some other something you could use to counter what I just said. So it's possible. So your engine will last, and that's my point, is as if your engine will no longer last. So you are now looking at the option. Okay, you do this, get it cheaper, spending less in fueling your car, but every once in a while you are spending more replacing your engine or rebuilding your engine or changing your valves all the time, or having cylinder head issue or other related issue. I do not know. There are so many people are claiming, but me, sometimes when I see some of the claims, I'm like, okay, it could be normal wear and tear, not necessarily caused by CNG. So that's why I didn't want to point out. But the one I'm saying is the one that made logical sense because of the nature of the gas or the nature of the fuel. So that's why I'm saying, okay, this claim makes sense, because even if it's not scientific, if you don't apply science to it, it's logical. It makes sense. So that's one thing. So before you do this, I want you to consider that. But do your own research. It's possible there are different types of CNG or brand that can prevent all this, or some other things can be doing to prevent it, or I don't know. I'm just a novice, just like you, or somebody, maybe you listening knows better than I do in CNG. So, but I'm just a novice here. But like I say, I'm using my automobile technical knowledge to interpret what I've gathered from the research. So it could be a wrong data that I saw, which will mess up my analysis, or I don't know. But the point is, go and read further. Don't take whatever I'm saying as gospel, as an expert speaking. No, I want you to read further, check further, ask your questions. People you ask are not necessarily people that just did the conversion, because right now they will be focusing on the less fuel consumption, less cost of fueling. People that have used it for long, that can be able to actually tell you, okay, these are the benefits, these are some issues encountered. You now know, okay, are you willing to, even if those issues are there, are you willing to, because there are some issues that you'll be like, okay, no, I can live with this, as long as I don't spend this much on fuel in the car. Okay, so that's about it. So do your own research. So check well, especially if your engine model is among the ones that are very expensive. Peugeot engines, I mean, expensive currently in Nigeria. Do your research well before you embark. If you have more than one car and you really need to do this conversion, look at all the 2 cars, 3 cars, or 4 cars, or 10 cars you have. Which among they have? Which among your 10 or whatever cars you have that has a weak engine? The engine is no longer as healthy as the other one. Use that one for that conversion. You are better off with that. So it will kind of be an experiment. If you wears out the engine faster, you won't really feel that part. But you will feel the pain if you go and put it on one that engine is very, very healthy and very, very expensive to replace or to repair, and this thing kills it for you. Whatever you must have gained from fueling the car, spending less in fuel the car, you hate that decision. Whatever you gain, you will, because now let's go logical in all these things. Now I understand the cost of the current this thing. I mean, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. So the question I want to ask is, to everybody there watching this video, CNG versus diesel, which makes more sense? In Nigeria, saying, because remember, what you are doing is to spend less in fueling your car. So which one has a risk that you can live with? Yeah, you spend less in refueling your CNG tank. You spend more in refueling your diesel tank. Which burns faster? Which covers more distance? Will you be able to cover the distance that the diesel tank will cover for you? Will it even as in with the CNG be able to cover the same distance? Is it that by the time you use 70 liters of diesel, you must have used about 300 liters of CNG? So you now calculate the price at the wrong one. Which one is more expensive? Even though you are buying the 70 liters of CNG, maybe 5,000, but the diesel you are buying 50,000. But by the time you finish using the 15,000 naira diesel, you must have spent maybe the same 15,000 naira or a little bit less, or maybe 20,000 naira in buying CNG that will cover the same distance 15,000 naira diesel will cover. So that's what I'm saying. I'm putting it on logic now. Check very well. Okay, diesel have its own issues in Nigeria, not necessarily faults, but technical know-how, who can fix it, availability of parts is there. But Peugeot diesel engines are not actually known to are not known to be troublesome like that. So we're having issues. They do fail. They become modernized and have sensors everywhere there and there. So every once in a while, you get, but compared to petrol engines, especially the ones produced around that time of THP, EPCs engines, they tend to have less problem to be dealt with. So, which makes more sense? You know, risk of losing your petrol engine when you do a conversion to CNG, or risk of not necessary risk, the reality facing you that eventually at some point you have to source for the parts and you may not find the diesel parts. You have to source for it outside Nigeria and spend more in importing that parts, even though your engine will still be intact, but you need that particular engine accessory for engine to continue to work. So in some cases here, CNG will make more sense. I mean, if not for anything, even if the engine fails, the petrol engine is easily available. So why bother with the diesel? You know that you may have to source for. But some, come on, you can source. Maybe you can have a contact maybe in Lagos that can be supplying you the diesel parts, since probably they might be having that part. See, look at it. Don't look at any other person. Use your own condition. You know how it pinches you. So evaluate it before you jump in. Which one makes more sense? For me, personally, I would say if Peugeot is saying this engine will give me 150 horsepower, this diesel engine will give me 150 horsepower, and I know if I get this diesel engine, I'm going to get that 150 horsepower. You stay intact. Then I can even increase the power by probably mapping it or doing something, and it will shoot up to 200 horsepower. What the hell is CNG to me then? I mean, you see where I'm coming? That is me. I'm after the power. And still enjoy the fuel economy diesel offers. Yeah, the issues, the parts. Come on, I have a 505, 1986 505 V6. Do you think the parts they are available in Nigeria? They are not. Most of the parts are exchanged on that car a few years ago. I had to import them. Even the starter motor, I imported it. You know how heavy the starter motor can be. I imported it. So, you have to know how much I spent in buying it, ordering it from USA, directly from USA. The water pump, do you know how much it costs to import? Maybe you may not know how heavy the water pump of 505 is. I imported it from UK 2 years ago, right? I'm enjoying the car. I'm about this. I don't have problem importing because I'm a car person, so there are some things that won't make sense to another person. But to me, I don't care. If I have the money, I'll get it. So you have to check check which one makes more sense to you. Diesel. So for me, diesel make more sense because you still spend less. The fuel, a liter of fuel, diesel will last you much longer. It will burn less than the CNG. But it doesn't matter what CNG claims. Diesel will burn much less than CNG. CNG will burn much faster than diesel. However, you will spend more in buying a liter of diesel than CNG. So both of them actually will save you fuel. But what I'm now looking at is the long run, the maintenance. Which one will give you more, not necessarily more peace. You are willing to live with the annoyances, the drawback, the unpleasant side, the negative side. Okay, let me close this by saying, Nigerian federal government, or whatever you might call them, I know there's no trust now between the federal government of Nigeria and the people of Nigeria they are leading. In other words, there is no trust between the followership and the leadership right now in Nigeria. But there's this claim from the leadership that the biggest refinery in Africa, I want to believe so, that is in has been actually been launched or commissioned anyway, but hasn't started production or started to refine. So they're expecting it's supposed to start by end of this month, July 2023, or next month, August 2023. So let's assume they are, but like I said, there's no trust. People don't actually trust what government is saying. But let's say if the government is actually speaking the truth this time. August is how many days from now? So meaning, because if that refinery becomes operational, it's expected that petrol costs will drop. I don't know how drastically it could drop from the current price, but it can't be the same price because we are now producing it. We are not buying the crude oil we use it to refine. So it's not expected to go high. It's supposed to drop. Personally, I believe it's supposed to even drop higher than, lower than before this increase. Before this increase was how many? 100 and is it 100 or something? I don't even remember. So it's supposed to drop less. So that's the question now. Do we trust what they are saying? But let's assume, even if we don't trust them, but I think logic dictates, why waste this 400 to 300 to 500,000 to do this CNG conversion? Because that's what I heard it costs to do conversion. For 4-cylinder, they say 4-cylinder engine is about 300 to 400,000. I don't even know about V6 to do a CNG conversion aftermarket. So why waste? Because I look at this like a waste. It might not be now. Maybe after August it might not be waste anymore. But right now, to me, it's a waste. Because what if in 2 weeks' time, 5 days' time, now the refinery start pumping fuel and then the fuel price now drop? Already you spend this 400,000. You've already maybe the claim that it reduces engine span or drastically, or okay, not let me use the word drastic. It lowers engine lifespan. It weakens the engine, and so meaning you've already done it, and you have for a few days you use it or weeks before the fuel price come down. You've already weakened your engine, so you lost. So I don't know. My point is, don't rush. Yes, you don't trust government. Let the August pass first. Then you have, even so you could say moral justification. Okay, but say within you, inner justification, not now public justification or external justification. No, I mean inner justification that yes, this thing is not going to be resolved anytime soon. So for the meantime, I just have to. I mean, you're talking about a few days now. You see people, everybody is doing what a funny thing with the public, everybody is doing it. Why are you still waiting for? I cannot, come on guys. Especially when I see men doing these things. Can't you have with your dick, can't you stand on your feet and say this is what I mean, even say that what every other man is saying for themselves? No, this is how I want it to be for me. Can't you even do it as a man? You have what is your penis doing in your middle of your leg if you can't even make use of that masculine energy? I don't even understand men. So honestly, sometimes think. Don't rush this thing. Let the August come and pass. Then you can now start making that kind of tough decision that might affect your vehicle, affect your savings and everything. Eventually, maybe all of us might go into it at the end. But I mean, come on, they just said this. Can't you wait? How many days now? We are 19th of July, 2023, and the claim is by end of this July or at least August that is expected that refinery will start running, and they expected that fuel price will drop. Because I know if fuel price drop back to where it was before, who cares about CNG? Why will you go and spend additional 300,000 or 400,000 naira to spend less on buying fuel? Wow. So that's my point. Yeah, right now it makes sense because of the high cost of the petrol. It makes sense to actually do it, to do the conversion. But because the time frame is very, very short for you to give a little bit patience to know eventually to do it or not. I know things are hard, but You will not die within the space of 2 weeks if you don't drive your car. I know yet, maybe public transportation will be costlier, things will be market, but this Nigeria, we know how we've been surviving, so it has never been this good before. Maybe, yeah, I could say that sometimes it will be good, but I mean, my point is, it has been worse than this. So, my advice is, if you want to do it, fine, but give it this time. It's just few weeks. Then when the time comes, you can now weigh your option, diesel, CNG. Okay, maybe your issue might be technical know-how. For me, it's not a problem to me because it's something I can handle myself. Repairing diesel, my own personal car, so it's not a problem for me. I do the diagnosis, even if I eventually need to take the workshop, all I need to do, I point out, do this, remove this, that's how to do this or replace this. You can even do it yourself. Go to YouTube videos. It says lots and lots of videos on how to diagnose Peugeot diesel engines, irrespective of the model, do repairs. You can learn it if you want to, or you can maybe download those videos and show your mechanic and teach him. I don't know. So there are so many things. Or you can do the CNG. It's like I say, since I'm not an expert, it's possible that it's not actually damaging engine as I'm saying, which is what people are saying. So I'm not saying authoritatively that it's happening, because if you're not an expert or something, then you have no authority in making such a claim. I'm just saying this is what so far statistics is showing. So okay, almost 1 hour 56 minutes. Okay, so I think I've said enough. I know it's a long video, but at least to help people to actually make a decision that will help them. Don't rush it. That's what I always advise anybody when it comes to that. I know there's LPG as well, but I don't know that one at all. I don't notice. There's CNG that have just this basic idea. So just think it well. Don't rush the decision. Things might get better. Things always get better, no matter how bad it is. I always tell people, even if no matter how bad your environment is, there are people who are actually enjoying that environment. As bad as Nigeria is, people are enjoying Nigeria financially and otherwise. And not all of them are doing illegal things to make that money. So all you need to do is, let you be one of them. Then if you find yourself in the position to make it better for everybody, why not? Nothing wrong in making it happen so that everybody will have the country will be in there. Okay, I don't want to go into politics now. But I think that's one of the problems we have. People, this stupid thing called democracy. People want soft hands to be applied to rule a country, to fix things. A black man, you want to apply soft hand. How is it working out? You want to fix Nigeria can be fixed within weeks, not even months. Has happened in other or one or two other African countries. And the change was very, very noticed. Okay, so I think that's all for today. So till another time. It's almost after 6 now. So